Also, today's gonna be the final video for, I guess, functions, like the ones that are, I guess, the ones that are pretty complex and not straightforward as the other ones, or the ones I pretty much use the most. Force off is one of my favorite ones because it's it helps me not make mistakes. Kind of does the work for me when I need it the most, when I have things toggled, delay latch, etc. But let me explain it. Pretty much, the it works. The functions it works the best for are toggle, delay latch, pulse even, um, tap toggle, and delay on toggle. Anything that is on its own, more or less, force off will force it off. Hence the name force off. So let me just show you an example of how it really works. So on the left side, you see like a bunch of toggled and then a bunch of force off. So let me try to toggle as much as I can at once. And every single button. So I have a lot of stuff toggled, right? And you're like, how am I going to memorize what I have on and what I don't have on? And for sure, I know what's going to turn it off. Well, this is what force off does. And on the bottom, lines 34 and below, you'll see the exact same command that's above it, but it has the word force off for function. And it's all set on lip. And what that means is if I click lip, it's going to force off whatever command it's listed. In this case, it's going to turn off everything that is toggled right now. So watch me as I click the lip, everything turn off. That's it. You can't really see me doing it, but I'm doing it. So I'm going to do one more time. I got almost everything toggled, and if I lip it, it will turn everything off. Bam. That's pretty much what it does. It's like an instant kill switch. But that's the basis. Now we got to get more complex. So let's go on to mode 2. And this is what pretty much what functions you can toggle it with. And I'm going to explain it. I'm only going to have one force off for each command that is toggle, delay, latched, pulsed, delay. Oh man, I messed up. I was supposed to put delay on, but it's fine. Oh no, delay off. Yeah, I actually want to try if it works with delay off too. So pretty much anything that is dark red is what I have toggled, except for the lines force off. The rule for force off also is how many force offs can you have? You can only have 10 force offs per command per mode. So in this mode sheet, I can have 10 force offs on A, 10 force offs on B. But when I switch modes, I can refresh everything and start over. So in this case, I have 10 force offs for the command A. I have 10 force offs for command B, 10 force offs for command X, Y, left trigger, left bumper, right bumper. So I have a shit ton of force offs, but I can only have 10 force offs dedicated for each command. I really hope that makes sense. I know I don't have them filled up, but for this purpose, just bear with me. So let's try to toggle. Let's try to toggle as much as we can on here. So we have left bumper toggled on left sip. We have left trigger on left puff. I'm going to focus on the pulse later. I have lines 28, which is A on lip. I have B on center puff, which is tap. It's a tap toggle. And then I have delay on X and Y, and that's going to be center sip, I believe, and right center puff. There you go. So I have those main toggled, right? And I'm also going to do pulse. Pulse right sip and right puff. Then right puff. So pretty much I have everything to cancel on center puff soft. Let me just do that right now. You'll notice everything turn off just like it's supposed to, because you see center puff soft is a force off on most of these. But then you're wondering, how come the buttons A, X, B, and Y didn't turn off? I mentioned this on the tap toggle and delay on toggle video. So force off doesn't work correctly on tap toggle and delay on toggle. It only works on that if there's no timer. If you notice on line 35, it says A, force off 50, center puffs off. It doesn't turn it off because there's a timer on it. If you look at lines 38, it says A, force off, left center puff. And you'll see in purple, no timers for tap and delay on toggle. That means force off only works if there is absolutely no timer, whatever parameter set in that box. So if I left center puff it, every other button should turn off. It's pretty much that simple. I'll do one more time, everything. So again, everything's turned on, even the pulse and the delay off. So if I center puff it, it's going to turn everything off except for the buttons, like I mentioned. It has to have no timer. Boom, it turned off the top portion. Now if I left center puff it, it will turn off the rest. Boom. Easy as that. Now let me show you how changing modes work. Because yes, you could potentially do this. So you can have right sip and right puff, the side tube, to as a force off in case you switch modes, but it's not really necessary unless you have modes that have toggled and delay on functions as well. So let's say everything is toggled on this spreadsheet, right? You're on mode 2, whatever, and you switch to mode 1. If the same command also has a function of either toggled or delay latch, I'm not sure about tap on or delay on, but if it has a toggle or delay latch as a function on the spreadsheet you switch to, it will remain toggled or delay latched. It will stay on because it is on your previous mode, and it's also set in motion on the next mode you jump into. But if I were to jump from mode 2 to mode 3, everything that is toggled on mode 2 will turn off on mode 3 because everything, the corresponding command is set to normal in this spreadsheet. And normal doesn't activate unless you activate it, the user. So yes, one more time. Everything on this mode will turn off if the next mode sheet has the same command, but it's set to normal or pulse or anything that is not toggled to delay on. I really hope that makes sense. I'm not butchering it. I'm sorry. But let me just show you. I don't think pulse will work or delay off, considering that they're not really on. They're just kind of on a sequence. So these are the ones that are on right now. If I go back to mode 1, they should remain on. Everything was remained on except for A button, because mode 1 does not have an A button. I didn't put it on. But as you can see, everything remained on, pretty much. And if I go back to mode 2, it shall continue to stay on. And not even that. The A button turned back on. Will you look at that? Now, if I go back to mode 3, if I go to mode 3, everything should turn off. Everything did turn off. Just like I said, if the next mode sheet has the same command, but it's set on a normal pattern, it will turn off any toggled or any delayed latch or pretty much anything turned on. And now I went back to mode 2 and everything officially turned off. I'm in mode 2 right now and everything's continued to stay off. So that's another way of turning things off without wasting force offs. Now let me show you how to not do it correctly. So this is what not to do. I see a lot of people do this and it's like a basic mistake, but it's okay. That's what we're here for, learning. What they do is like, I guess they're confused on how to use force off because sometimes they want to activate on the same button. Doesn't make sense, but let me just get into it. We're going to start from top to bottom, the green, purple, pink, and yellow color. A, B, X, Y. And they're set on toggled, right? So each one of them is set on toggled, and they're also set on force off. So if I center puff it to activate A, it shouldn't toggle. It should not toggle center puff because center puff is A for toggled and center puff is also force off for A, which they cancel each other out. Nothing really happens or nothing becomes latched. So if I center puff it, it does activate it because it's activating the toggle portion, but then the force off turns it off almost immediately. So it's kind of counterintuitive. So it does activate, but it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not toggling. The same thing can be happening for B. If I center sip it, it's going to activate, but it will not toggle because I set force off on the same button. That's not what you want to do. And then center puff, the same thing. And then flip, the same thing. None of those buttons toggle because the force off is set on the same thing. You don't want to do that. Also, something you don't want to do. If you can see on the darker green, it's called right to. It's set on normal, but it's set on constant. And what constant means is it's always going to stay on forever. No matter what I do, you can never turn it off. But I also set right to be a force off if your quad stick is centered. And it's always centered. If you're not touching your quad stick, it's centered. So this is also impossible. In this case, constant wins. Constant beats force off. So if you have a constant somewhere on your profile and you're trying to do a force off on the same command, you're wasting your time. The force off can never beat a constant. Constant actually has more power over force off. So you don't want to do that either. And now on D-pad north, it's set on tab 301. It's on center puff, so I'm going to do that right now. There it is. Now, D-pad north is also a force off on lip. And if I do it, it actually doesn't work. Because the force off cannot be on a timer. I don't know if it's a bug. I need to look more into it. But tap toggles and delay on toggles, force off does not work against it if it has a timer. So if I put just force off by itself, it would turn off the tap. But with that timer, it doesn't seem to work. I'm clicking lip and holding it for that 1000 milliseconds. But it's not registering. It's like it's negating it. So that's also not what you want to do. You want to put, if you're going to use tap toggles and delay on toggles, do not put a timer. Leave it as normal, force off. And now the next thing. Here, let me cancel these though. So I can cancel tap toggle with the same button on it, except for the constant. The last most important thing I've seen people do, they want to be able to delay latch their joystick. You know, you're going forward, backward, left, right, whatever. But they don't use force offs. So if you're gonna go this approach to your profile, if you're gonna be toggling or delay latching your joysticks, and like I said, you're gonna go for this approach, please use force offs, because this is what I see people do. They toggle left joystick up, right? And then they're gonna toggle left joystick down. And what's gonna happen? It cancels each other out. See, now it looks like I'm not even moving the joystick. And now if I tap up, it's like the Quadstick's all confused, it's combobulated. It pretty much doesn't know what to do. You can't go up and down at the same time, the same way you can't go left and right at the same time. You can't go both ways. You have to pick and choose. Or else you're gonna have problems and it's gonna be a standstill. Now let me show you how to appropriately use a force off. So this is one example of how to actually use it correctly. So you'll notice I even wrote it. So again, lines 14 to 17, you got left joy left, right, up, down. They're all set on delay latch on a different timer. It doesn't really matter. But they're set on left center puff, right center puff, center sip, and center puff. And I even put the color coding to tell you. Now let me just show you the force offs for each one. So, on lines 35 to 44, it's all depending on left joystick up force offs, right? Hear me out here. So I'm going to center puff it. you'll notice the left joystick is up. So to counteract the left joystick up, if I activate left center puff, right center puff, and left center sip, they are going to turn off left joystick up, and they're going to activate exactly. They're going to activate anything that involves left center puff, right center puff, and center sip. So if I left center puff it, which is the left analog stick, it will turn off left joystick up and activate left. It activated left, right? Let me do it again. I activate left joy up, and I'm going to activate right center puff. It turns off left joystick up, and it activates right. Again, activate up, and I'm going to do center sip. It deactivates up, and it activates down. This is how you use force offs correctly. I know this is kind of boring, but it's very needed for my final one. I haven't seen a lot of people use this correctly. So again, I'm going to activate left joystick down. And now if I center puff, right center puff, or left center puff, if I activate any of those, it's going to cancel it. So it cancels and it goes straight to the appropriate one. So, I mean, I can show you the rest of them, but they're pretty much straightforward. If I'm going to use left joystick left to cancel itself, I'm not going to put left center puff. I'm going to use every other direction just so they don't cancel, just so they don't like bump heads. You know, if I'm going left, I have to make sure right cancels left before activating right. Same with other directions. This is how you would do it. I hope this makes sense for my final function video. If you have any trouble, just comment or send me an email. It's in the description box below. I try to make this as simple as possible, but force off it has rules to it. So thank you for watching. Have a great day. See you on the next one.